the last chapter, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, we learnt about three kinds of gunas that drive us to do whatever we do in this world. So we are driven by these qualities which are already inherent in us, which we are bringing from many births. As we all know, Sanatana Dharma believes in two basic principles. One is the theory of reincarnation and the theory of action-reaction, karma and karma prabhava. So actions and reactions lead to punarjanma. We are born again, and we are born again with certain qualities which we have acquired during our previous incarnations. So nobody is new here. That is why it's called Ma-Nava. Ma means not, Nava means new. So we are not new at all. Our bodies become new with every birth. But we are not new. We carry ourselves from birth after birth. And some of these secrets are revealed in Bhagavad Gita. Even this time, Sri Krishna in the next chapter, Purusottama Yoga, is going to describe that. So we saw that these three basic gunas are there, Rajoguna, Tamoguna and Sattva-guna. And we know depending on the guna, we behave in a certain way and experience certain things. And then based on how we live our lives, driven by these gunas, we accordingly reap the results of our actions. Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha, madhye tishtanti rajasa, jaghanya guna vrittistha, adho gachanti tamasa. What is the fate of people who are driven by the gunas? He says, Urdhvam gachanti, those sattvastha, those who have sattvic gunas, purity, they rise above. Above where? To higher worlds, to better worlds. Earth is not the best world. There are worlds above earth. We all know that by now. Bhu, Bhuva, Suvaha, Mahajanaha, Tapaha, Satyam. Similarly, there are worlds which are below also. And we know that if we do wrong things, we go down. That's what it says. Jaghanya guna vrittistha adho gachanti tamasa. Because of the terrible qualities that a tamasic person embodies, after death, such a person goes to lower worlds. And then, what happened to the Rajasic people? They keep swaying like pendulum from this side to that side. Neither they go up nor they go down. They keep coming back to earth and going through the same cycle again and again. How these gunas control us. That is what all that chapter was all about. But that is one part of the Prakriti. That is the Prakriti part of the story. What about the Purusha part of the story? You remember in Kshetrajna Yoga, Arjuna asks about Prakriti and Purusha. Now these two chapters, that is Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga and now Purusottama Yoga, are going to talk about the Prakriti and the Purusha part of it. So Prakriti part of it, we have experienced ourselves, how we behave in different times, in different ways, in different situations based on our gunas. So the effort is to join the company of sattvic people so that we learn good qualities from them and thereby we rise in our spiritual growth. This is the simple idea of life. That's why satsanga is very important in life. Run away from bad company, I say, and run towards good company. Tyaja durjana sansargam bhaja sadhu samagamam. Generally, we run towards the bad company. Somebody gives us a bad idea, we are in rush to implement it. We can't control our senses and mind. We are tempted. Whereas when good ideas come, we postpone it. I always tell, when people ask me, we want to do this good work, please tell us a good muhurtam, date, time, place. I tell, for good work, you don't need muhurtam. For bad work, better find a muhurtam. So when the good thought comes to you, implement it then and there. Don't wait for another moment because our minds are very difficult to control. As Arjuna himself says and Krishna acknowledges. Yes, minds are very difficult and gunas are nothing but the qualities that are present in the mind. So for a moment we come to an ashram, we meet good people, we make a good resolve that we are going to lead our lives like this. But the next moment we step out of the ashram, we meet other people, their passions, their qualities are different and that influences us. So it is very important to always maintain good company. If you don't have good people around, keep good books, listen to good thoughts. With technology, everything has become so easy. You don't have to go searching for good company. You can have it on your phone. So idea is that keep yourselves immersed always in good thoughts and good company. That way sattvic gunas will increase. And I said Rajoguna should control the Tamoguna in us. Laziness should be controlled by action. And action itself should be controlled by pure actions, purity of thought. So we are also very busy. As you know, we are so busy all the time. But we are not busy for our sake. We are busy for a greater cause of the world's welfare. So our rajas is driven by sattva gunas. So we are only going to rise together. That's why I say in love, generally people fall in love, but here we rise in love. How do we rise in love? By loving everybody selflessly, we rise in love. That we have to transcend all the three gunas at some point in time. Neither we are driven by tamo, rajo or sattva gunas. We are driven by a higher consciousness which controls all the things, which is the basis on which these gunas are acting, gunas are playing their part. So next chapter is the other part, Prakriti part is over. Now we come to the Purusha part. The definition of Purusha is Pura-shaya. Pura means this a city, like Chikbalapura is there. So all those people who live in Chikbalapura, people are the residents of Chikbalapura is called. Likewise, Purusha is the one who lives in this body, which is called as Pura, a city of 9 gates. So these 9 gates are the 9 openings in this body. And who resides in this body? That one, they say. Which one? That ultimate supreme consciousness resides in these bodies. That supreme consciousness is called as Purusha. So you are also Purusha, they are also Purusha, I am also Purusha. Everybody is Purusha actually. Because there is no place where this consciousness is not there. Even in an ant, in an insect, in even trees and birds and bees, everywhere the same consciousness. Prano hiesha sarvabhutair vibhati. There is one prana, one energy, one consciousness which drives everything. And if you say it does not exist in matter, it is not true. It also exists in matter. And we last time heard about the Nobel Prize winners of 2023, the physicists who had worked against the Bell inequalities and have proven that some kind of relationship exists between two particles in the universe. And that consciousness is the connecting force, which is yet to be established, but science is getting there. It's a matter of time. Our sages had found out long time ago, but our scientists are on their way to discovering the same truth. So, Purusottama Yoga. Purusha means we are all Purushas now. By definition of Purusha, that consciousness which resides in us all is Purusha. This consciousness is neither male nor female, nor old nor young, rich, poor. It does not exist. It is just like a neutral force like electricity. When it enters bulbs, it becomes light. It enters the fan, it becomes a breeze. If it enters the mic, it becomes sound and things like that. So it's a neutral consciousness which is there in all of us. Aham Brahma Sarvam Brahma. Brahma is that consciousness. Brahman is the consciousness. That is what we talk about. So Purusha Yoga, if it was there, it would have been some science of biology or psychology. But this is Purusottama Yoga, the best of the Purusha that is saying. The ultimate one. Uttama, highest one. So amongst all of us also there is one concept of highest amongst all. So that is Purusottama Yoga. Yoga is, that which connects us to that divinity. The science of connecting to the divinity is yoga. So this chapter is quite famous, very popular, and a lot of people chant this. Many places this is like the beginning of any satsang, they chant the entire chapter. So it's a short chapter but very profound. So pay attention. It says, it begins with Bhagavan explaining what is Purusha, because he has finished explaining Prakriti, which was Arjuna's question earlier in the 13th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Urdhva Mula Adhashakam Ashwattham Prahuravyayam Chandansi Yatsya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavit. This is a very famous shloka because it describes the entire creation as a tree which is upside down. We all have seen trees everywhere which are growing from the earth and growing upwards to the sky. But this is something that is growing from up, the roots are above and the tree or the branches and leaves, everything is below. Now, if you do not take it very literally and start looking for such a tree, it doesn't exist anywhere. This is a symbol, because Sri Krishna is a teacher. He talks in allegories and talks in examples and symbols. So a symbolic representation of the creation is like this. Now, children should pay attention to this. It's a very strange tree. And what kind of tree it is? Urdhva Mula. Its roots are above. And Adhashakam, its branches are below. It's an inverted tree, upside down. And what is it? It's called Ashwatham. Ashwatha Prahuravyayam. This is called Prahu, is been called as Ashwatha tree. Now Ashwatha tree in normal parlance is the people tree. And we have a nice big people tree. As you go towards Anandam, you will see. And many other places also in the ashram we have people tree. It's a sacred tree. Now why is Krishna calling it as Ashwatha? Because Ashwatha is not merely about people tree. It is also the name Ashwatha has a significance, a meaning. Shwa means tomorrow. Ashwa means not there tomorrow. Tha means to be. What is not going to be there tomorrow, that is this tree, he says. It means it's always changing. It's there today in this way, tomorrow it may not be there the way it is. That is why it's called Ashwatha. It's a very temporary thing. It's a transient thing. It's a changing thing. So it's called Ashwatha Prahu. Avyayam, still it has been there. See the paradox. It won't be there tomorrow, yet is avyaya, means it never gets destroyed, it never changes. Whenever we talk about paradoxes, we know we are talking about Advaita Vedanta. It is this, it is not this. It is here, it is also there. It is neither here, it is not there. You remember? I am in all are in me. Yet I am not all are not me. This is how Krishna confuses Arjuna. But we are not confused. We have gone with great understanding and detailed study of all this Advaita. So whenever you come across these paradoxes, apparent opposites, but these are all the real truths. So this tree does not exist tomorrow as it exists today. It keeps changing. Yet it is there all the time. It is never gone. This is how Krishna is calling this tree. And the next one it says, Chandansi yatra rasya parnani. And what are the leaves of this tree? See, by looking at the leaves, you can know what kind of tree it is, right? Students have this, or people also have these tests. They will see the leaf, botany students, and have to identify the tree. And if it's a healthy leaf is there, you also know the tree is very healthy. So what is the essence of this tree? What is that which we can see and identify itself with? Chandansi. Chanda means all the verses of the Vedas. So Vedas are the leaves. And that alone can tell us the nature of the tree. By looking at the leaf, we analyze the leaf, we know the nature of the tree. Likewise, Vedas are the ones which can tell us the reality, the truth about this tree, what it's like, what are its properties, how does it grow, does it do, what are the fruits and things like that. And Chandansi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavid. The one who knows these chandas, the leaves of the tree, he knows everything. He knows the entire Vedas, it is said. So it's a symbolic tree. What are the features of this tree? It grows upside down, as if the roots are above and the branches are below. And it is called as that which won't exist tomorrow. It is only today, but tomorrow it's not going to be the same. Yet it exists at all times. And the leaves of this tree are the Vedas. And the one who knows these leaves, who understands this Veda, he becomes the knower of everything. Remember, Shaunako hi Mahashalo, the Shaunaka Rishi goes to Angirasa and asks, what is that I need to know, by knowing which I will know everything? He himself is a Mahashala. This is from the Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad. And he himself is a Mahashala, means he is a great tapasvi. He has done a lot of yajna. He has great Yajnashala. He has done enough. Yet he does not know the entire truth. So he goes to Angirasa and prays. Tell me, O great one, I have learned so much, but I am not satisfied. I think I don't know still many things. What is that one thing, if I know that, I will come to know about everything? And then Angirasa tells, Dve vidye veditavye iti hasma yad brahma vido vadanti. Angirasa says, what the Brahmavidas, the knowers of Brahman have told, is what I am telling you. There are two kinds of knowledge that you must attain. Dve vidye. Parachai vaparacha. The para and the apara. Para is the higher version, higher knowledge, and apara is the lower knowledge. Borrowing from this, we have instituted para and apara vidya courses in our curriculum. Apara vidya, the lower knowledge, is the science, arts, humanities, languages, all the regular academic curriculum, including sports, music, and things like that. The para vidya is the study of these scriptures, Upanishads, and things like that. Strictly in the old times, apara vidya meant only karma kandas, that is the ritualistic fire rituals and other things. And para vidya meant only the knowledge of Brahman. So it is not that how we classify is not the real classification in the Vedas, but I have classified it this way for better understanding. Because by definition, Paravidya is that takes us to Brahman. Yat tatra Brahma adigamyate, that which will take us to Brahma or Brahman, the knowledge of the truth. So this also says, the one who knows these leaves and through which he knows the tree knows everything. If you study this, you study everything, you know everything. So we better be interested in knowing what kind of tree is this, how does it grow upside down, and where does it sustain from, what is its mechanism, and how does it live, how does it grow, how does it bear fruits, and what are those fruits, Krishna is going to tell in the next shloka. Similar shloka comes in Kathopanishad also. Kathopanishad and Bhagavad Gita have a lot of similarities. In fact, Bhagavad Gita almost looks like a Kathopanishad being retaught. So, if it's natural, Kathopanishad has come much earlier, and some of the shlokas are quite common and quite almost like copy of the Kathopanishad. Now, some people say, no, every word is spoken by Krishna. Yes, as the Supreme Brahman, Parama Purusha, everything has been spoken by him. But Bhagavad Gita was not these many shlokas in the beginning. Even Mahabharata was not this long. It has been improvised, things have been added for the betterment or better understanding of the entire text. So this is how it has improved over a period of time. Maybe Krishna spoke a little, Vedavyasa added a little more, his disciples added a little more, and this is how it has grown to the size that it is today. Nevertheless, Kathopanishad also carries a similar shloka. It says, Urdhva Mulo Avak Shakha Eshaha Ashwattha Sanathana. There also it's called Ashwattha, and it is also saying that the roots are above and the trees below. Similar mention is in other Upanishads also. So what is that Krishna is trying to tell us about it? That is the whole thing. Remember the qualities, it grows upside down, its leaves are Vedas, and it is not there, yet it is there all the time. This is the quality of the tree. And what else is there? He says, second shloka is, Adhaschordhvam prasrita tasya shakha. Adhascha urdhvam. Below and above, its branches grow. Prasritas tasya shakha. Shakha means branches. So a tree naturally has roots, then the trunk, and then the branches. It says some branches go above, some branches go below. It means branches grow in all directions. That is what it means. And what else happens? Guna pravruddhaha vishaya pravalaha. Gunas, remember gunas from the last chapter? Rajoguna, Tamoguna, Sattva-guna. They are the pravruddha, means they are the cause of its growth. How does a tree grow? It draws nutrients from the soil, water from the soil, sunlight from outside, and then photosynthesis happens, and then tree starts growing. Cell multiplication, all that, we know all that. So how does this tree grow? What is the source of sustenance? Gunas, it's saying. That's why the previous chapter is important. What kind of gunas are there? That kind of tree it will be. If it's more rajoguna, it will be rajasic tree, tamoguna, tamasic tree. That is the idea. And vishaya pravala. And what are the buds? Naturally, a tree grows, the first thing that happens is a bud is formed, and then bud grows into flower, flower grows into fruit, fruit has seeds, and seed has another tree in it. The entire DNA of the tree is in the little seed. So what are the buds? It says Vishaya. Vishaya means what? The sense objects, things for which the senses have been created. Like, I want to taste this, I want to see that, I want to touch that, I want to hear that, I want to go there, I want to experience this. All these things which are external are called Vishayas. And for Vishaya's sake only all the Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, all these senses and 10 senses, we remember Karmendriya, Jnanendriya, everything has been created for what sake? To enjoy the Vishaya, to enjoy the objects for which they have been created. So what are the buds? What leads to furthering of this tree? These sense objects which are available around that attract our gunas. And gunas run after these sense objects to fulfill their desires. This is the reason why this tree keeps growing from one to another. Then adhascha mulanya anusantatani. He says, adhascha, its base, where is its base? This tree's base, where is it? Its base is right in the bottom, it says. Adhaha. And its roots are growing at the bottom. In the sense, if you see people tree, you have the main root, the prop root is, main root is there, and the prop roots grow in all directions. So it seems as if its roots are also growing the downside. From up it's coming, and it's also growing downwards. So it's growing from both the sides. From the upper side is the sustenance, and lower side is its growth, and also branches grow in all directions. I'm sure children will be confused that how does a tree grow like this? As I said, it's a symbolic tree. When your teacher calls you, you are like a big lion, brave like a lion. You don't become a lion that moment, right? It's a symbolic thing to say you are very brave. He is like a lion. And what else happens? Karmanu bandhini manushya loke. And when these prop roots grow, where do they go and attach themselves to? Naturally, they're growing downwards. So they go and attach themselves to the lokas, it says. And these lokas are driven by karma, action, reaction. So when you do some good action, last time remember, we go to urdhvam gacchanti, we go to the higher lokas. We do bad actions, we go to the lower lokas. We simply while away our time over here, we keep swinging, we go nowhere, we remain where we are. So this is the idea that our karmas are the reasons why we get bound to the lokas. And these things, prop roots are coming down, are like karmas that we perform that binds us to the lokas. Now let's revise once more. Urdhva moolam, the main roots are above. It means it sustains itself by drawing from something from the above. Then as it grows down, its branches are growing in all directions, and upside, downside, and all directions. Remember, if you do good things, you go upwards, you do bad things, go downwards, so branches are like that. Then the leaves are the Vedas. By studying the leaves, you can know the entire quality and all the features, the type of the tree that it is. You know everything about it once you know the Vedas. And then the buds, the reason for it to propagate itself is the Vishayas. And where does it draw its nourishment from? Gunas. And where does it grow? It further grows in all directions, also grows down. Its prop roots are growing down, and they're binding us, tying us to the worlds, various worlds, based on our karma. So this is the entire picturization, this is the entire symbolism of this tree. Think of it as your own body now, let us see. How do you start performing actions? Suppose you want to see something or go somewhere. Your legs have to move. Now for legs to move and perform whatever duty we want to perform, your body has to go along with the legs. But who created this idea of going all the way and doing something? Something in our head we say, something we thought, and once the thought happened, that slowly translated into action. And then action is translated into reaction. Now think of yourself as an upside down tree. You don't have to hang upside down as you are. Think yourself. Your head is the root cause of all your good and bad that you do, your thoughts. Sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a tendency. Sow a tendency, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny, it is said. So once our thought starts in our head, that is the beginning of all our actions. From there, the thought grows till it becomes a desire. And that desire is so strong that we can't sit quiet till it is fulfilled. So we walk, do whatever is required, and try to fulfill that desire. But once we fulfill that desire, there is a reaction to it. Then we have to accordingly reap the fruits of that action. This is the rule. And where do we reap the fruits of this action? In lokas. Which kind of lokas? Higher lokas, lower lokas, or this bhuloka in which we keep on reincarnating again and again. So this is the symbolism. And it's quite interesting. As they say, yatha pinde tatha brahmande. So you can think that Brahmanda, the entire creation, is being described by Sri Krishna like this tree that is happening within us. Our gunas are there somewhere. Somebody is thinking, where do they put their finger? I'm thinking. You always put here. So think of it as the root cause of all the issues. The head. From where we start thinking, and from there everything starts. That's why in 2nd chapter Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells 8 steps to one's downfall. Dhyayato vishayan punsaha, sangasteshu upajayate, sangat sanjayate kama, kamat krodho vijayate, krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibramaha, smriti vamshat buddhinasho, buddhinashat pranashyati. 8 steps. You see something, you develop a desire for it, start thinking about it. Dhyayato, keep thinking about it. What happens? Sangaha, attachment grows towards it. And sangat sanjayate kama. With this attachment slowly it grows into a desire. I want to possess it. I want to experience it. Then kamat krodho vijayate. If you are not able to possess it, you are not able to take it or get it, anger. I can't get it, I want to get it, then you get angry. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Once you are angry, you do not know what you are thinking, talking or doing. Your sammoha means you are deluded. Sammohat smriti vibrama. When you are deluded, your memory power goes away. In the sense, you can't think right. You don't remember what happened last time when you went through this process. That you were miserable, but this time you have forgotten about it because your mind is deluded. Now you want to run behind the same thing. So, moha, smriti vibramaha, your memory power, your understanding goes for a toss. You can't remember things, you can't discriminate. Smriti Brahmshat Buddhi Nasho, then your intelligence is destroyed. Because intelligence depends on the memory. Remember, Mana Buddhi Chitta Ahankara. Mana is the conglomeration of all thoughts. Then comes Buddhi, intelligence. But intelligence depends on Chitta, the memory of the past. Suppose you have burnt your finger once in the fire, the memory of that is in your Manas. The next time you see fire, your Chitta will remember this is fire. And last time my Amma told, don't put your finger in it, and just exactly that I went and did. Put my finger in the fire. And it burnt like hell. So your memory is there. But now an angry person has lost his memory, lost his discrimination. So he goes and does the same wrong thing. And then what happens? Buddhi nashat pranashyati. Such a person meets his own destruction because of his desire. And that came from a thought. That's why in our Patanjali Yoga Sutras it tells, Drishta anushravika vishaya vitrishnasya vashikara sangya iti vairagya. What is vairagya? What is detachment? Attachment we just know how it happens. What is detachment? Drishta. Anything that you have seen. Anushravika, you have heard from somebody who might have heard from someone. Vishaya, about some object of the senses. Vitrishnasya, developing no desire for it. Controlling that desire. Vashikara, sangya, that state is called vairagyam. It means you might not have seen the thing, but you have heard about it. Khilji, he came, he heard about Padmavati was so beautiful. And he did not even see her. But by hearing about it from somebody who had heard from somebody, because nobody had seen her, he developed such desire that he waged a war, and you see how much destruction he brought. So this is the idea of desire. So this karmanu bandhini, why does our feet or legs, they go or reach somewhere? Because we have created a desire in our head which pushes the legs to walk. I want to eat that. Now where is it available? In such and such shop. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. So this is how we do. The karma only binds us. So you land up in different lokas according to your karma. So this is the tree, how it grows and how it spreads itself and how it runs behind the sense objects and how it derives its nourishment from the gunas that we have brought with ourselves. And ultimately we end up in binding ourselves like the prop roots get us tied to various lokas. So this is the entire thing. So what is the way to get rid of this tree? Krishna should teach us that also, that our life is getting bound. So how to free ourselves is the question that you have to ask. And Krishna himself will answer, but a while later. Meanwhile, he continues to explain this tree. He says, Na rupam asyeha tatopalabhyate, na anto, na chadina, na cha sampratishtha. He says, if you are going to search for the tree, such a tree, does it exist outside? Can you see it? Can you feel it? Can you touch it? Not possible, he says. Rupam asya iha tatha na upalabhyate. It is not available for you to see this tree here. But it does exist, Krishna says. However, you can't see it with your naked eyes. Na anto na chadina adi. Now there is beginning, nor there is an end to these trees. Nor you will know where it is established. Because it is not a physical phenomenon. It is a symbolism. It exists in our very existence is this tree. At the same time, Ashwattamenam suviruda mula. This tree is firmly rooted. Firmly rooted. Where it's rooted? In the something above. It's rooted. And also there are roots below, which binds us. So its sustenance comes from somewhere. It binds us to somewhere else. It is very firmly rooted. It cannot be like, many trees, if their roots are not very strong, what happens to them? A big storm and the tree falls. But here this tree will never fall. It is so strong. Suvirudha mula. Very strongly bound with its roots. And what can you do? So how do you get rid of this tree? He says, Asanga shastreda drinena chitvaha. Asanga shastra, there is only one weapon, one axe or whatever, with which you can cut it down, cut the roots, cut the bindings. What is that asanga? Asanga means no attachment. No attachment. That is the way you can get rid of the binding of this tree. So you will say, I can't see the tree. If I have an axe, I can go and cut the roots and branches and get rid of it. But he says you can't find it outside. There is no physical weapon to kill it or destroy it. The only way you can get rid of it is through asanga shastra. Shastra means a weapon. Asanga means detachment, non-attachment to anything. That is the only way you can firmly cut it and get free. This is what the asanga shastra is. Where does it exist? Asanga Shastra? Exists in us. Our ability to remain detached from the world and the worldly objects is the only way to get rid of this tree which binds us to various lokas through our karmas and keeps propagating and growing because of our furthering of our desires or through our gunas. So this is the only way. The only way is to become detached, unattached with this world. So you will say, I am in this world. How do I live unattached life? Now I have family, I have job, I have a name, I have work, I have position. I need to look after all these things. You said you look after all these things, yet you don't be attached to it. That is spirituality. You can enjoy the world. The world should not enjoy you. Boat can be in the water. Water cannot get inside the boat. That is the idea. How can we live like this? Ramakrishna Paramahamsa used to give example. When women will cut jackfruit, it has got a very slimy kind of a secretion. It sticks to your finger and irritates you. So what do these women do? They apply oil to their hands and then they go and cut the jackfruit so that the sticky, slimy secretions won't stick to your hand. And so you can cut the jackfruit, cook the jackfruit, eat the jackfruit, but your hands are not destroyed. So that is asanga, that is vairagya. That is what one needs to develop in order to live in the world yet not be bound by the world. So how can you fell this tree? How can you cut it down? Through this sense of detachment that you must develop while you are living in this world. That is the essence of this. And what else you should do? Tatah padam tat parimargitavyam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. Tatah padam. Therefore, how do you go about it? Tat parimargitavyam. Go searching for where the roots are. Where is the origin of this tree? How did it all start? Go searching for it. And what happens then? Then only you will find where to cut it. Where your detachment should come. You must trace why this reaction I am facing now. I have done some action, so this reaction. Now what is the action that I have done? Go back and trace that action. Then go back and trace how did this action happen. Somebody instigated me, somebody brought a desire in my head, somebody told me about it and therefore I followed it. Then you go back and check how did it happen. Oh, some bad company, bad ideas, bad thoughts crept in my head. Now go and trace that thought back. And slowly you go and trace that behind the thought are the gunas. Gunaha guneshu vartante. They for their own sake they work. They don't listen to us, these gunas. So what happens then? Generally my nature is a naughty nature. Many children join our institution in 6th class. Some are saintly. They won't retaliate, they won't react. They are so quiet and nice. Some people from the day one they are difficult. Who taught them all? They have brought it with them. We didn't teach them. Truth is, you are doing what you are doing because you are made like that. Your qualities drive you to do that. However, others become kind of an excuse for you to do what you anyway wanted to do. So you trace your thoughts all the way back. I call it ekatmya pratyasara. And many times last time in Paravidya workshops also, many morning meditations we did that. We categorized our thoughts as sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. And then what did we do? We went on discarding the tamasic thoughts, rajasic thoughts, and then kept only sattvic thoughts. And we also went on tracing the journey of this thought. How did this happen to me? Where did I see, hear, learn about it, read about it? Who told me about it that this got inside my head? And then slowly you trace and go back to the bottom of the thing and then cut it forever. Remember our Chanakya, he was going with his disciple and then he stepped on a thorny bush and one thorn stuck in his foot and he was very hurt. So what did he do? He went to the nearby shop and bought some jaggery or something sweet, a syrup. And then he brought that syrup and started pouring on the thorny bush. And his disciple asked him, what are you doing? You could have as well just, cut it or removed it and done something about it. He said, no, I want it to die from the roots. Let the ants go and eat up the entire roots of this bush so that it will never grow back again. So that is the kind of tracing down we have to do. The real cause of why we ended up in what we ended up in. And that is what he said, tat parimargitavyam. Follow the path. Where it is coming from, where are the origins. And then, yasmin gata nivartanti bhuya. And when you follow, where do you reach? What is the origin of it all? You are saying reactions are originating from actions. Actions are originating from some thoughts. Thoughts are actually generated by our company or our gunas which make us go to certain companies. Who is the basis of all these gunas? Who sustains it all? Then you go to a higher knowledge. It all comes from a greater source. Drigadrishya viveka. Rupam drishyam lochanam drik. If things are seen is outside, objects are seen, eyes are the seer. Then if eyes become the seen, mind is the seer. If mind becomes the seer, seen consciousness is the seer. We remember that we did that. First thing, eyes see it. But eyes are not seeing it because many times we sit in front of the book, our eyes are seeing the book, but we are still not seeing the book. Because mind is somewhere. Eyes are there, but mind is not there. So book is there, eyes are there, mind is not there. Now mind comes back. Mind comes back, intelligence is not there. So you don't understand what is written in the book. Intelligence is gone missing. So intelligence is behind the mind. And behind the intelligence is this consciousness, this ability to even be intelligent. The ability to even think or understand things is coming from a higher source. That is what I call it as electricity, which permeates all the bulbs and makes them glow. So this is the idea of, if you keep tracing back where this light is coming from that bulb, where this bulb is in that, on the roof. And behind the bulb there is a filament. Behind the filament there is a wire. In the wire there is electricity. Electricity is not seen, but that is the reason why all this is glowing. So you keep tracing back and you will come to that ultimate source of all this tree. Then you will say, so you mean to say God is the reason for all these things? Of course, God is the one who creates generator, organizer and destroyer. God. He is the source of all this. Then say, see, this is all God shouldn't be doing. See, had he not created this world only, where is the question of misery? See, our scriptures have only one word answer for this. Leela. This is all Leela of the divine. Real one who has realized the self will call it as Leela and enjoy everything. The Agyanis are the ones who will have all these complaints and doubts. So once you tasmin drishte paravare, once you know the truth, shiyante chasya karmani, bhijyate hridaya granthi, all these Mundakopanishad says, you get rid of all the doubts. So I can't clear your doubts by explaining you through the scriptures. Your real doubts will be totally cleared only when you know the truth for yourself. How much ever I describe how the mountain is, you will not understand unless you have seen one. I can show a piece of stone and say mountain is like 1 lakh times bigger than this. Now imagine. How will you imagine a mountain? Or I show a bucket of water and say an ocean is 1 billion times bigger than this. You can't imagine. Scriptures are like this stone, a bucket of water and things like that, which is trying to describe the ultimate puruṣa, puruṣottama, but it cannot. That's why our Upanishads clearly say, dato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasa. So these scriptures are just giving us some indication. In fact, they're trying to inspire us to find the truth for ourselves. They are trying to create curiosity in us so that we follow this path. So the next line says, Tameva cha adyam purusham prapadye yata pravritti prasita pranani. Tama eva cha adyam purusham prapadye. Go back and you will go and trace whom? That Purusha will be at the beginning of everything, the source of everything. That ultimate consciousness is the source of everything. From there everything has begun. You will finally trace it down to that Purusha. And what else? Yatah pravrittihi prasruta purani. From the ancient times, from where all these ideas came to us, pravritti. Pravritti means activities, all the actions they have undertaken. What is the source? Prasruta. From where did it grow and come? You trace it all back, Purani. Finally you realize that in the long time ago, there was this Purusha, the Brahman, the consciousness. He or she or whatever it decided to manifest. And from unmanifest, it took a form. And we know the whole creation happened. And now we are here. How these trees, now go back to your rooms, go back to your classes, wherever, and then start thinking that how my thoughts are the reason for all that I do. And how my thoughts create actions, and actions bind me to reactions, and this cycle continues forever. And how do I get rid of this? You have to get rid of thought, then you will not feel like studying or working. You say that is also thought. No. Have the thought, but pure thought. How children can do this? Replace a lower thought with a higher thought. That is the first step. You take out one thorn using another thorn, right? That's how we remove a thorn from our foot. But ultimately both the thorns have to be discarded. So one good thought has to be used to remove one bad thought. That's why in our education system, our satsangs, our ashram, we always keep you very, very busy. So that there is no time to think something wrong. All the time you have to think right, because all the time you are made to think right. And whenever little time you get and you get a wrong thought, immediately you should replace with the right thought. This is how you have to go on improving yourself. And who is going to help you? You have to help yourself. We can at best, take the horse to the water. Drinking a horse has to do. You can't do anything more than that. Education system, ashrams, satsangs, everything can be created, seva opportunities. But to control your thoughts and keeping them pure and sacred is your personal responsibility. Nobody can help you there. Because what you're inside, only you know. So this is the idea of this particular thing, that if you go on tracing the root of all the things, ultimately you will reach divinity only. But why this divinity got a little kind of modified or got a little dirty or pure is because of the gunas through which it was filtered. Like sunlight passing through a transparent pure glass is white. White in the sense is transparent, is pure. Same thing passing through a red window glass is going to look like red light. Similarly, if something is going through a dark glass, totally opaque, no light will pass through it. Then what happens? Everything is dark inside. So sunlight is not at fault. The window glass through which it has passed is the reason why it has taken different colors or hues. Similarly, the pure thought of consciousness is like sunlight. It is pure. It is not at fault. But when it passes through gunas, various gunas, then it takes different kinds of hues. Good boy, bad boy, okay boy, not so good boy. All these things happen only because of it passing through the gunas. And where are the gunas coming from? We have studied in the previous chapter and the previous chapter that from the avyakta, unmanifest chitta, all our memories, all our karmas, vasanas stored from ever, from there gunas have started coming, and from these gunas all these things happen. Then somebody will be very smart, they'll say, how did I go wrong in the first place? What was the reason? Had I not gone wrong in the first place, today I won't be in this situation. So who caused that? You say everything is done by divine, divine will controls everything. So I am not such a good person. That is also divine will only, isn't it? Like that they will ask questions. These are those people who do not want to improve in life at all. They just want to find an excuse to remain as they are. And for such people, the best answer is like Buddha said. Somebody came and Buddha was teaching. Somebody said something and he was arguing. Buddha said, I'm advising you, don't argue with fools. It's not good. He said, but how can you not argue? You have to argue and prove yourself right. Buddha said, yes, you are right. Go. Jnani, if you go to, he will stop. He will not argue. Bhavate nativadi doesn't speak at all. Because he knows these people are foolish. They will argue for unnecessary things. I'll waste my time and energy by even trying to explain it to them. So I don't want to explain all those things. Once you grow spiritually, all the answers will be found. Vidyate hridaya grantischa. All your doubts will be dispelled. So that's the reason why you should continue to study Bhagavad Gita, because this is going to help you clear your doubts in some way. Finally, you will realize everything is perfect as it is. Krishna told long ago, I did not punish anybody, I did not reward anybody. Your own karmas are the reason for what you do. Now we know karmas are coming from gunas. Gunas have been developed over several births of our activities, associations, thoughts. So keep good companies. Everything, satsangatve nissangatvam, starts with good company. That is the essence of the entire spirituality. Start with good company. You will finally end up with a good destiny. So children and youngsters and all people, of course, please make sure that all the time you're trying to keep good company. And if you come across bad company, please make efforts to run away. Till you have become a jnani, then nobody can touch you. Let 100 temptations come in front of you. You will not shake even a bit. But have you achieved that status? Have you achieved that spiritual strength? If not, avoid bad company. That is the best solution. Don't try to transform the world. Don't try to improve people. First, you learn to focus on yourself and improve yourself. To that extent, you can be selfish in spirituality. But somebody is very sincere. Generally, if they want to learn, they want to be sincerely coming to you, then whatever knowledge you have, you can share without any pride, without any egotism. But if somebody is coming to simply disturb your faith and disturb your thought process, create confusion and doubt, just avoid that. Don't try to transform them. Don't try to argue and debate with them. This is the best solution on spiritual path. It will conserve your energy and help you grow faster. Krishna also further says, how do we develop that kind of a weapon? Where do I get that weapon from? Asanga Shastra. Ashtavakra also says a similar thing. Dehabhimana pashena chiram bandhosi putrakaha bodhoham jnana khadgena tannishkratya sukhi bhava. You have been tied down by this body attachment for too long. You think I am this body. And you are suffering with that idea that I am the body, and body has to be taken care, it has to be looked after, it has to be pleased. And this is going on forever. Body means body-mind complex, what it means. So what do? You should bodhoham, who are you? Find out that. And that is your weapon with which you can cut this bondage of the body and mind. And what will you attain after that? Sukhi bhava. You will attain happiness. Are we not doing everything in this world only for the sake of sukha prapti and dukha nivritti? We are doing. We want to get rid of sorrow forever and we want to enjoy happiness forever. But the forever part of it is possible only when you know who you are. So this is the idea. And so now Sri Krishna says in the 5th shloka, there are 5 qualities you must develop in order to develop that weapon, sharp weapon of detachment with which you can cut any kind of bondage, however strong it might be. What are those? He says, Nirmana moha, jitasanga dosha, adhyatma nitya, vinivritta kamaha, dvaindair vimuktaha, sukadukha sangyaihi, gachanti amudhaha, padamavyayam tat. Very simple. It says, Nirmana moha. Nirmana moha means, Nirmana means what? Mana means some kind of a pride and arrogance. Mana also means measurement. Manaka means standard or measurements of certain things. So what do? Nirmana means the way you are measuring yourself, the way you are defining yourself. I am this body, it has a name, I am this person who has educated, who is in such a position. See, this is our measurement of ourselves, our definition of ourselves. We are wrongly measuring ourselves, and because of that we feel insulted or we feel dejected. Somebody does not give us the respect that we deserve or we think we deserve. We feel humiliated. All this is because we have an understanding of ourselves, we are so and so. So this kind of pride will disappear because once you realize in everybody, in everything, the same divinity exists. Outer covers are different. Then where is the question of being proud? So one who knows the truth, where is the question of measuring yourself or defining yourself as anything different from anybody else? You realize that your truth is one. Therefore your pride and egotism will just disappear. So nirmana will happen. Then moha, nirmoha. Nirmoha means without any delusion. Delusion is when you see one thing for the other. Many times, people get scared with their own shadow. Suddenly they feel somebody else is there and the shadow falls on the wall. So this is all delusion. This has been caused because of wrong understanding of things. Moha has come because of wrong understanding of things. So this delusion should be given up by understanding things in the right way. The first is get rid of your ego. Second is get rid of delusions. The way you think, as you are not one but three. One, you think you are nirmana. The others think you are nirmoha because he is loving, he is compassionate, he is kind. And everything becomes a moha, you get attached. So that attachment and delusion also should disappear. Jita sanga dosha, you should be sanga dosha, the wrong company, wrong attachments that you develop, wrong associations that you develop, you should conquer that. You have to conquer that because it's very easy to get dragged into any of your attachments. And when I keep warning, see, you do some bad thing, your ego and attachments will be of one kind. You do good things, your ego and attachments are of another kind. Because the ego and the attachments and the ideas that come out of doing seva, it's much more sticky. You feel superior than everybody else. Nobody does any seva. Look at me, I do 1 lakh japas every day. I go and serve these many meals. I have work these many hours. This kind of ego is worse. So it's better not to do such service which leads you to more wrong understanding and moha and ego. So Jita Sangha dosha means get rid of the company of such things or such people or such places which creates in you these delusions, which creates in you ego. Join the company of the humble, the good, the noble, spiritual people. And that is why I tell me your company, I shall tell you what you are. Because birds of the same feather flock together. So get rid of the bad company. That is the first thing. Tyajya Durjana Sansargam I keep telling. What is the fourth quality? Adhyatma nitya. Ever interested in spirituality. Adhi Atma, or the knowledge of the self. He is always interested. I'm not saying should not be interested in his books and studies and sports and music. Interested in all, but from a different perspective. And more importantly, in Paravidya, they are very interested, such people. Anything to know, which deals with self or spirituality, they are very interested. They are all ears. But when it comes to spiritual lessons, why is it that I don't develop this kind of attraction and involvement? Many children ask this question. I tell them it is a matter of developing it with effort, again and again. Like you develop taste for new things by consistently putting efforts to Adhyatma Nitya. One day you will come for a satsang, you will not change. You have to push yourself to come for satsang on a Nitya basis, means continuous, regular basis, not in a broken way. Like a mother which changes the taste of the child's tongue. The child drinks milk, doesn't want to drink anything else. How do you develop taste for Adhyatma? By consistently joining the company of good people, reading scripture, doing swadhyaya. Even if you don't like it, like a bitter medicine, you have to take it because that is what is going to be good for you. Shreyo, Preyo, you know that concept. And finally, fifth quality, Vinivritta Kama. He has done with all his desires. There are no more desires left in this. Then you will say, what about the desire for self-realization? Mumukshutva. He said, Mumukshutva is there. Mumukshutva is not equal to a desire. Mumukshutva is a kind of an attitude. It's a mental disposition. It's some kind of an inner quality. It is not a desire per se. I call it as a burning desire to realize self. This is just to explain in the terms that you will be finding it easy to understand. So Mumukshutva is a sense of urgency to realize the truth. And for that sake, you're ready to do anything. In the sense, you're ready to sacrifice the wrong things, accept the good things, and stuff like that. So this person is Vinivritta Kama. His desires are all done. Probably there is only one desire left, if you call it a desire, which is to know the self. All other desires have disappeared. Somebody, Rumi said, once I had 1,000 desires, but in my one desire to know you, all other desires disappeared, melted away. So that is the idea. To know God is the greatest desire or greatest idea one can develop. All other things will fall into place soon after that. So this is the idea of Vinivritta Kama, and this idea of being desireless has been told in n number of times in n number of our scriptures. The ultimate state of desirelessness is equal to Brahman, they say. Kathopanishad concludes finally, Yada sarve pramuchyante kama yasya hridishritaah athamartyo amruto bhavati atra brahma samashnute. When one's desires of the heart are done, there is nothing left, no more desire. Absolute peace, absolute calm, absolute purity is the status of that person. That mortal, so to say mortal, becomes immortal when then and there he attains Brahman. So you don't have to go somewhere to attain Brahman, here and now. How? By becoming desireless. If somebody tells you you'll attain Brahman then and there, if you do this and then you go there, they are not telling you the truth. Our scriptures tell here and now your right is to be Brahman, but the only obstruction is your desires. Unwanted, unnecessary desires. No, so what about the desire of building a new hospital and telling everybody to work for it? What is that a desire? So I always tell like that. Desire comes from where I am somebody. From there only desire starts. If you are nobody, where is the desire? So one who identifies with the body and the mind, such person's activities are driven by a certain desire. But the one who has no such identification, the one who is beyond that, for him it may look like his personal desire, but it is not a desire at all. It is what the divine has destined, decided. So that person simply becomes an instrument of expression of what the divine has decided. They don't, that is why it is said, in Bhakti Yoga it says such a person does not initiate anything. Such a person is not the initiator of actions. So how does he perform actions? How do actions happen? He simply instruments it, simply becomes a channel through which the divine works. So if a Caesar goes and cuts a piece of cloth, you think Caesar got up in the morning and developed a desire, today I want to cut a piece of cloth? No. The tailor came and said, I want to cut and make a shirt out of this piece of cloth. So he picked up the scissors and did what he wanted to do. So scissors did not have a desire. But somebody who cannot see the tailor, he may only see the scissors moving and they'll think, oh, this scissor is going on cutting the cloth. But a knowledgeable person will know, no, this is not scissors, it doesn't work on its own. There is a doer behind it. So the desire is not of the scissors, because scissors is just an instrument. Desire is that of a tailor who decided to make the cloth, cut the cloth and make something. So divine, it works through such people. Nimitta matram bhava savyasajin, Krishna says, become an instrument. Such a person is vinivritta kama. He has no desire, simply lies there. Sometimes I tell, even if you wait for my command and without demanding or desiring anything, that also is spirituality. You are progressing. To remain as you are without getting restless is a very good thing. But then even that desire, no, give me some work, give me this, give me that. No, so that is what I say. Be an instrumentation of God also requires tremendous patience and not bothering God again and again. When will you use me again? When will you use me again? When there will be a need, I will tell you. Just be around and Be quiet. So even those, what you call, they also serve who simply stand and wait. That is the idea. That is also, so vinivritta kama means not got anything to do, haven't got anything to do, then contemplate on who you are. That itself is a good work to do. Whole day you can sit and think aham brahmasmi or whatever the idea that you want to develop. So vinivritta kama, these 5 qualities are important. Nirmana, ego that comes out of our wrong appreciation of ourselves. I am so and so, I am great, or I am no good. That is also ego. That is also mana. I am no good, I am so useless. These kind of, both the ideas are egos only of different types. Simply be nirmoha. Don't get deluded, don't get distracted by the wrong identities, wrong ideas. Stay in good company, jitasanga dosha. Have the courage, have the ability to conquer this attachment towards wrong kind of people, wrong kind of things, wrong kind of companies, you see. Then Adhyatma Nitya Vinivritta Kama. Completely always be ready to understand, learn, engage in spiritual things, and Vinivritta Kama. Get rid of all the desires. Because desires don't die, we die. Krishnana Jirna, Vayameva Jirna. This is from the Bhartrihari's Vairagya Shatakam. Our desires don't become old, we become old. And we die. Our desires will remain. How do we know? Because when we are born again, those desires will simply come and continue from where we had left. So that is why we are born. Kama bhir jayate tatra tatra. Our Mundaka Upanishad says the one who has desires is born accordingly in different places because of the desire. If there is no desire, such a paryapta kama. The one who has finished all desires, he has nothing more left to simply exist as to express divinity through oneself. Such a person is never born again unless God decides to bring such a person back on earth for whatever reason. So this is the idea that you must do that, because once you know dvandvair vimukta, you become free from the dualities of life, the experience of duality, sukha, dukkha, raga, dvesha, jaya, ajaya, mana, apamana, all these opposites which exist in this world, dvandva, you will get rid of it. And biggest dvandva is what? I am different from God. God is that, I am this. That is the biggest dvandva that we deal with, right? You will get rid of that also. Dvandair virmuktaha, we become free from it. Sukha dukkha sangyai, the pleasure and pain, sukha dukkha. That kind of status you will be freed from. Sukha dukkha means all the other pairs of opposites can be included in this, including that I am Jiva and that is Brahma. I am different, that is different. That idea will also disappear. Why? Because he becomes amudha. He becomes wise. Mudha means foolish, childish and foolish. Amudha means he becomes wise. So he becomes amudha, and where does he reach? Padam avyayam tat. That ultimate destination he will reach, that ultimate state, which is avyaya. Avyaya means which never changes, never gets destroyed. Remember in the beginning he told the tree is of two kinds. Tree has two properties. One, it is ashwatha. At the same time it is avyaya also. Avyaya because every aspect of the tree is permeated by the same divine principle. See, the screen is there on which you are watching me. Every part of the projection of the picture is permeated by the TV screen behind, isn't it? So to that extent we are permanent, to that extent we are temporary. Suppose program gets over, they switch off everything, I will disappear, the pictures will disappear, but what will remain? The screen. And tomorrow again we reconnect, screen will come alive. As if it comes alive when I come and it dies when I am not there. But that is not the truth, we all know. Likewise, divinity is the basis on which all the world is manifesting. But we only see the world because when the TV is on, pictures are on, we can't see the screen behind it. And how is this world? It covers the entire screen without leaving even an inch. So like that, this world covers the entire divinity in such a way that we can't see the divinity, we only see the world. So that is the idea, that is avyaya. So what happens? Such a person will see the truth of all existence as indestructible divinity, on which changing scenes or changing aspects, the ashwatha part of the creation is happening. So to this extent, hopefully we are clear. Again, he glorifies that padam. Always Krishna has done this. Whenever he talks about that Tatpadam, that highest self, he always adds a little bit more. Like a teacher who is so happy and he wants to glorify this idea. He says, Na tad bhasayate suryo, na shashanko na pavakaha, yad gatva na nivartante, tad dhama paramam mama. There, in my place where I come from, Krishna means not the one who comes from Mathura or Dwarka or what. When Krishna says mama, he is identifying himself with the ultimate puruṣottama, the highest self, the supreme self. He is not identifying himself with the body and the mind. That is why when he says Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga also, many times he has used this. uses this mama or aham. That aham or mama that is using is not identifying with the Krishna of Yaduvamsha, the Krishna of the Gopikas, the Krishna of Radha. This is the Krishna, the ultimate supreme Brahman. So what he says, in that place where I come from, where I belong, that my place, my abode, how is it? Na tad bhasayate surya. Sun does not shine there. What else does not happen? Na shashanko. So does moon shine? No, moon also does not shine. Then there is no fire or light which will illuminate it. So what happens then? How do we see things over there? How does that place exist? That place is self-luminous. Swaprakasha. It has light of its own. It does not need anybody else's help to know it. Suppose we are in a dark room if there is no light. If sunlight is there, you will see who is who. In the night, moonlight will help us to see things. If both are not there, we light fire because these are the pre-electricity days. So then you light a fire, a torch and see things, or a lamp. He says neither fire, nor sun, nor moon. Nothing exists over there. Yet everything is crystal clear. Everything is known. This is beautiful poetry, that's all. To make you understand that in that awareness, consciousness, we know everything, but awareness, consciousness does not need anything to know it. It is self-aware. It is self-aware. That is the nature of my abode. Means that is my nature. That is Krishna is telling as a supreme Brahman. And this similar shloka comes in Kathopanishad also. Lot of Upanishads this way. Na tatta suryo bhati na chandratarakam nama vidyuto kutoim agnihi tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati, it says. As it shines, so is everybody shines. In its light, everything shines, it says. It shines means that knowledge, that consciousness shines. In that consciousness awareness, we come to know about everything else. If it is not there, we will not know it. We will discuss a little more as we go down further. But Krishna says the beauty of that, why should I know that place? Why should I visit that place? Why should I reach that place? Because yadgatva na nivartante. Our problem is punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam. Every time we keep coming back into different bodies, to different fathers, mothers, with different families, different places, and restart A, B, C, D, brushing, walking. What a plight it is, Somebody who remembers his past will be miserable. He'll think, I learnt all these ABCD last time when I was in part of the Gurukulam. No, that was last birth. You come back in a new birth and start again from ABCD. Poor fellows to start again. What a plight. Jivatma's plight. That's why Krishna ensures that we forget everything of the past. So that we get excited about learning new things again. But all this we have learned. Millions of births we have taken and learnt all this and experienced all this. Kastvam koyam kutamayata kame janni kometa. Shankaracharya. He'd sit on his head. Who is you? Who am I? Who is the mother? Who is the father? We have been here for so many times. This birth you became my father. Like in different dramas, you might have been given different roles. In one drama, somebody may be your husband. Next drama, he may be your father. Next drama, he may be your brother. Depending on the roles. So this is how we have been changing roles and coming and going. Giving too much attention and attaching ourselves to people and relationships is futile. It only leads to misery. But it does not give us freedom. So this is the idea. At the same time, you must do your duty too. You cannot reject saying that I am not a mother, I am not the father. You fend for yourself. No. In this birth, this role has been given. You have to do your duty. Discharge your duty. Karmanyavadikaraste. You do your duty, Krishna says, but with detachment. What is detachment? I know this body, this birth is a new garment, a new role, but I am the divine supreme self who has been here forever. So this is the idea. Once you know that, once you reach that, you don't come back again. That's why our scriptures say, Viveka Chudamani, Vadantu Shastrani, Bhajantu Devan, Kurvantu Karmani, Bhajantu Devataha, Atmaikya Bodhena Vinapi Mukti, Na Siddhyati Brahma Shatantarepi. Even in 100 years of Brahma, you cannot reach this status of no birth, no death, unless you have realized who you are. Do as many yajnas, read as many Veda Shastras, do as many karma kandas, worship as many gods. All this is not going to help you. At the end, you have to know who you are. That is the only way to realize and be free from this cycle of births and deaths. That is the basic idea of our all Upanishads. So Krishna has to say, the only way out is Get rid of all your desires, develop good company, be ever interested in your spiritual progress, engage in good things, get rid of your wrong egos and identity delusions, and then what will happen? You'll get rid of the dualities of life with which you will be able to reach that state, that ultimate existential reality of you being the divinity, and from once you've attained that, there is no returning back. See, all other things can be reversed. We are a good person today, tomorrow we can behave badly. And our Kathopanishad says, Yogo hi prabhavapyayo, it says. Yogas and all these other activities, it has the inherent fault that it can one day be up, it can another be down. This we all know. We have our own days and moods. But this is one thing, the permanent change in you, no temporary changes. Therefore, you will never come back. Why? Because you have become permanently transformed. This is not some superficial change. This is ultimate change. Like I say, once mercury is converted into gold, it cannot be reversed. It cannot come back and become mercury again. It has been transformed. Like that, this transformation that happens to us by developing these good qualities and ultimately realizing the divinity is the permanent transformation. Therefore, I tell, please invest your time and energy in this. Why do you waste your time and energy in learning things which are going to be relearned again? Today, whatever science we know, tomorrow that will change. Again, we have to educate ourselves. So what I'm saying, everything that we know today will not be relevant tomorrow. But this is one thing, once you know that, you become that, there is no reversal. This is a permanent knowledge. It never gets destroyed. Therefore, invest in this knowledge. Become Adhyatma Nitya. This is the encouragement. Again, Krishna continues to glorify it, saying, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha Mana Shasthani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. Mamai Vamsho. All these that you see in this world, Jiva Loke, all the Jiva Bhutas, all the beings, sentient beings that you see, they are all my part and parcels. They are, in all of them, I am there. They are parts, they are my parts. I am there in all. Amsha. They're part of me. I exist in all of them. Can I say that the screen exists in every pixel of the picture that it is displaying today? Look at your big screens are there, right? There are small LEDs are there. In every LED, which is like a pixel, does the screen exist or not? It does exist. Every part of the picture display, the screen exists. So you can easily say that every pixel is a part of that screen. Screen exists like that. Every space, this room, that room, other room, all these rooms may look different divided by walls, but in all the rooms the same space exists. In all the bulbs the same electricity exists. So can electricity say, Mamaiva Amsho, all the bulbs? All these bulbs are nothing but a part and parcel of me. He can say, the electricity can say, if it can speak. It will say, I am only there in all of them, but I appear to be divided in small, small parts. But I am a continuous thing. How do we know it is a continuous thing? Because science tells us there is one flow of electrons everywhere. And that is what is causing all this charge. And that is why things are glowing. So to the outsider it may look like divided, but to the one who knows science of electricity, he knows very clearly this is one current flowing through all the bulbs. So he says, I am there in all. See, that is the beauty. Only our scriptures say we are also God. You are God as you are. You experience good and bad according to the gunas and the actions that you perform. This is the chapter. So he says, I am only in all. Sanatana, I am eternal. Screen may come on and go off. And this says, pictures may come on and go off. But screen remains. So I am eternal. Bodies will come and go. I as the Atman, I always remain. We can switch off after all the functions are over. We can switch off all the bulbs. But we have not switched off the electricity. Electricity is still there in a potential form. The moment we switch on, circuit is connected. Again the bulbs start glowing. So the same idea, I am always there. I am there in all states of your existence, in all moods that you go through, in all the situations of your life. One thing that does not change is my presence in you. How powerful it is. Somebody, one little girl I was talking to, she said, in the night I get scared. I said, why? Because I'm scared of being alone. I said, but you are never alone. Who is with you? Swami is with me. I said, that's the truth. Swami not as a physical presence, but Swami as the divine supreme principle is there. So where is the fear? That is the idea our scriptures go on telling. Sanatanaha, forever I have been there with you. And mana, shashthani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. But what happens when I enter you as a jivatma and energize you, I kind of power you to do things? What do? I use what your 6 indriyas. What are the 6 indriyas? 5 indriyas we know, karmendriya. In the sense he has summarized it. 5 basic indriyas, what Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are the Pancha Sukshma indriyas. With mana, mind, which is the ultimate controller or the enjoyer or the coordinator of all these indriyas. So manas. In these 6 ways, Prakriti sthani. I exist as these 6 indriyas exist in the Prakriti. Prakriti is the previous chapter we read. Though there are 24 aspects, Sri Krishna has just summarized it as these 6 important aspects. And what happens with these 6 things, what I make you do, in the sense what the divinity makes us do, karshati, makes us work in this world. Because we can't work in this world. How can a machine work without electric current? Suppose current goes off, your machine will simply stand there and do nothing. But whatever you are able to do is because of my presence in you. And how do you do it? You do it with the help of mana and indriyas. Indriyas means all the indriyas. Karmendriya, Jnanendriya, Sukshma, Panchendriya, Panchamahabhuta, Avyakta. All these you include in that. I only work through you and make everything happen. That's why there is no reason why you should think that I am the doer and feel pride. Where is the question of ego? Who are you after all? So you have to remind ourselves, we are not the doer, we are not the owners. We are instruments. Why should I get nervous and why should I lose sleep? I should not do that. Why? Because we are not the owners. We are not the doers. There is Mavai Vamsho Jivalok. He is there present in all of us. He uses our indriyas and manas and makes us do all the things. Makes us do means he allows us to do all these things. But if we get distracted and get into bad company and develop some wrong understanding, then we think we are the doer, we are the owners, and we develop great pride and ego and suffer and make everybody else also suffer along with us. This is the wrong understanding. So Krishna says, understand that I am present in all forever, and with these senses and the mind, which is the Prakriti, situated in Prakriti, Karshati, all the actions happen. Karshati iti Krishna also they say. The one who works, the one who attracts, the one who plows the field, all this is Krishna only. So here Karshati means attracted also can be taken. Karsha means I make this mind and senses get attracted to the Prakriti, right? All the things that exist outside. That attraction is happening because I am present inside. So you will say, so I get attracted to the wrong things. So that is also Krishna's fault like that. Krishna has only given you the power of attraction. He didn't tell you go and get attracted to the wrong things. There are sweets, there is garbage. Now fly decides where it goes and sits. So flying is its power. But going and sitting in garbage or a sweet box is its choice. So that's why to that extent we are free as jivas. We have some possibility of making choices. But when we surrender our indriyas and manas to Krishna, to the Divine Supreme Lord, saying that, thank you for giving all these Prakriti and all these things, but I think I am not capable of using it well. I surrender it to you, then the divinity takes over from there and you become a mere expression, an instrument of the divine. So that is the answer to the question that I raised last time. Why do I make mistakes? That also is done by Krishna only. Because without his presence nothing can happen. That also happens because of God. Then why I have to suffer the things? So this is the answer. See, God has given this ability for us to make certain choices. Mana, buddhi and all has been given to us. What we do with it is like father giving pocket money to you. Whose money it is? Did you earn it? No. Then how did you get it? Your father decided to give you some money. He worked and earned it. He gave you on your birthday. Now what you do with that money is your choice. If you go with your friends and spend it on wrong things, you wasted the money. You do dana or charity, you do good things, you will enjoy that punyam. But one thing that you can surely do with that money is you can go back to your father and say, thank you very much for giving me this money, but I think I'm not mature enough to use it well. And I know you will always give me whatever I need even before I ask. So why do I need to keep this in my pocket and worry about whether it is there or not there, whether it's been stolen or is it safe? It's unnecessary headache for me. You keep the money with you. If I need something, anyway I know you will provide for it. So I don't want it for myself. Similarly, God has given us mana, indriya, all these abilities and all the Vishaya Vasanas are there. You just return it back to Him, saying you only use it as you decide, because I am incapable of it, I may make mistakes. Your problem is solved, God will take over, you become an instrument, expression of the divinity, and imagine impossible things will be achieved through you. We are a witness to such a thing, right? In 10 years what has happened is because we have offered our mind, buddhi, ahankara, everything to that supreme divinity and said, you use us as you please, not thy will. And everything has changed. So this is the idea of Krishna using all these things and making us get attracted to things, at the same time making us work for it. Once we are attracted to something, we have to work to get it. So avidya, kama, karma, that cycle starts off that moment. Then he says, Shrotram chakshu sparshanam cha rasanam ghranam evacha adhishthaya manaschayam vishayanu pavasevate. What are the five indriyas? Adarthi kshotra, ears, chakshu, eyes, sparsha, touch, rasana, taste, and ghrana, smell. So all these faculties that I have, nose, eyes, ears, and things like that, which are all situated in the mind. Because eyes don't see really, ears don't hear. Behind that there is this mind, the software which runs inside, that makes all the hardware of this body work. So this mind which is there, all of them together enjoy the vishayas. We know vishayas are the sense objects. So if you want to eat something, taste something, enjoy something, you need an indriya. Like your hand should pick it up, should feel it is hot or cold, put it on your tongue, then you analyze the taste of it, then you enjoy it. Where you enjoy it, you don't enjoy it in your tongue, you enjoy it in your mind. Mind enjoys it. Somebody who is asleep, let's say, whose mind is like switched off kind of, even if you keep a thing in front of that person, he's not going to enjoy it. So mind is the reason why it enjoys. But mind itself is powered by whom? Mamaivamsho jiva loke, that is, consciousness powers the mind. So mind is able to do its work because of the consciousness, and mind uses the indriyas to enjoy the world. This is the thing that Krishna is telling. If you see to look at Kathopanishad, a beautiful shloka comes, a very good beautiful analogy of a chariot, a charioteer, a passenger, the reins, the horses, the road, and the destination. I'm just saying it for the sake of academic purpose. You can go and read for yourself. Atmanam rathinam viddhi shariram rathamevatu buddhim sarathi viddhim manah pragrahamevacha idriyani hayan ahu vishayan teshu gocharan atmaindriya manoyukta bhokta ityahu manishinaha. What is the chariot? Body is the chariot. Atmanam rathinam. This body, this whole thing is the chariot, and then shariram is the chariot, and atmanam means the self, the divine, the Krishna in us, the Supreme Lord, is the passenger. He is traveling in this chariot. And who is Sarathi? Who is the driver? Buddhi, our intelligence. Because it has to decide to take a right turn or a left turn, or go straight, how to avoid a pothole and the traffic and a cow and a buffalo on the way. It has to think. So that is the idea of Buddhi. And Mana Pragrahameva. In old time, chariots had horses and they need to be having a rein or we have to bridle. With that we have to control the horses. So the idea is that thing, that leather straps which we use as a rein, that is mind. Because mind alone is capable of pulling the horses, pulling the senses. But who controls the mind? The intelligence. Because it knows this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing. And that's how this goes. And who are the horses? Horses are the five senses. That's what it says. 5 horses are 5 senses. And what are the things on which they are moving, towards which they are moving? The sense objects. Eyes want to see some good things, so they run towards that. Run means they look that side. Ears want to hear something, so they tune themselves to that sound. Nose wants to smell something, so it goes and picks that up. So like that, each indriya runs towards the sense objects. So these are the gocharan. And atmaindriya manoyuktaha. Who is enjoying this journey? Who is enjoying all these things? Atma is enjoying. But how? Using mana and indriya. Same thing he says. Adhisthaya manaschayam vishayanupasevate. Mana with the indriyas is seemingly enjoying the sense objects, but the real enjoyer of everything is Atman only, sitting inside. He is experiencing, through him we are experiencing everything. So Bhokta is the true Bhokta is the Atman only, not the mind and the senses, but through them he enjoys. Then what happens? Why are we not able to discriminate between this thing? Why we think we are enjoying, we are doing, we are achieving, we are so and so? Why this is happening to us? Krishna answers, Utkramantam sthitam vapi bunjanam va gunanvitam vimudha nanu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. This self, that divinity, when it enters, we are alive. It sustains us. And when it leaves, utkramanti, it leaves us, it goes away. We think we are going away. We say such a person is born, such a person is dead. Person is dead means what happened for the person to die or for the person to be born? That Atman entered the person, therefore the person came alive. The amsha of that divinity entered. Why did the bulb come alive? Because electricity entered the bulb. Why did the bulb die? Electricity, by die means why did the light go off? Because electricity left the bulb. So that is the idea. So what happens that all these utkramantam, when it leaves thitam, when it stays, va api bhunjana, when it enjoys or when it experiences while it is situated or stationed, va gunanvitam, because of the gunas, whatever it does. Vimudha nanu pashyanti. The foolish people cannot see the divine inside. They only see the body, mind, intelligence of the person, and they think this is all that person is all about. They only see the bulb and the color and the light, and they see this is all things are all about. They can't see the electricity, they don't believe there is electricity. This is the problem with whom? The foolish people who don't know anything about electricity. They will not understand why things are glowing like this and why they don't glow after some time. Pashyanti jnana chakshushu, but the one who has an eye of knowledge, jnana chakshu, a subtle vision, a deeper understanding of things. Such a person knows, this is all the divine only who is going through all the experiences. We think we are going through the experiences. So now you will say, all the misery that we go through, what happens then? Divine only is becoming miserable. No, it appears as if divine is becoming miserable. It appears as if divine is only enjoying. Divinity is not. You think the electricity is becoming happy when it is put through a 1000 watt bulb and becomes sad when it is put through a 0 watt bulb? It doesn't care. It appears, oh, it has become so dim now and it has become so bright here. But has electricity become happier or sad? No. But because of electricity only everything is happening. That is the idea. The foolish fellow will give all the credit to the bulb and the circuit and the wires. The jnani, the knower of electricity and all these things will only praise the electricity. Good quality, good voltage. Therefore things are working well. That is the idea of jnana chakshu. And how do we develop this jnana chakshu? Through scriptures, through the company of good people and gurus, we learn these truths and then we go and experiment. We try to find who is the one who is doing everything through us. See, we all are awake, then we know that we are all awake, we see things. You can take credit, I am awake, I did things. Then you are asleep. In the sleep, you go into deep sleep. You don't even know where you are sleeping and what is the time. But when you wake up, your body is intact. All the functions in the body are going on, right? Whatever you have eaten has been digested. Your blood is circulating. Your breathing is happening. So who is doing this when you are not even aware that you are even alive? Somebody is doing this. Somebody is running the whole show, even when you are not conscious. That thing is divinity, is what we are trying to tell, which takes care of everything, including your memory, chitta. It stores all that. Suppose you wake up and forget everything, what you did or whatever you were in the previous day. How will you survive? So that has all the power. It supports your memory, it supports your intelligence, it supports your mind, it supports your senses, it supports your body. It supports everything even when you are not aware of it. That is the idea of the divinity. So apparently it is the one which is doing and enjoying. But truth is that it is neither doing nor enjoying. It is only a witness to everything. It just happens through this. Now this thought is something that you sit and contemplate. You can't just get it. You may physically, listening to me, you may think, we have understood everything. But go back and sit and meditate. Tomorrow when some ego starts cropping up in you because of your great achievements, or depression starts setting in because of some failures, tell yourself this. Tell yourself, this is happening because of my wrong identity, wrong understanding. I am neither this nor that. We chant Nirvana Shatakam day in, day out, but we don't contemplate on the meaning of it. Na sukham, na saukyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na tirtham, na veda, na yajna, all these things are there. So this knowledge is something that is not easy to tell. What is it? Ashtavakra says, yatha tathopadeshena kritartha sattva buddhiman ajivam vi jignasu parastatra vimuhyate. The one who is having purity, one who is having this interest in this knowledge, whoever explains to them, even it is not a good teacher, that person will understand the knowledge. Because the student is so good. And the one who is simply curious and not really interested in the knowledge, simply shows as if interested. Such a person, whole life also, if he tries to spend and learn, will not understand anything. So Shraddha is very important to understand this knowledge. Without Shraddha, you will not understand. Again, as I said, Kathopanishad says, Na nareravarena prokta esha suvignayo bahuda chintyamana ananya prokte gatiratra nasti aniyan hi tarkyam anupramana. This knowledge is so subtle, subtler than the atom. It's difficult to understand an atom because it is so small you can't even see it. But you have to believe it exists. And when atoms come together, they become molecules, elements, compounds, all that whole creation happens. So, but it is subtle knowledge. And who can understand it? The teacher also should be good in teaching it. But more importantly, Krishna says here is the learner has to be very good. Mudha, if you are Mudha, what kind of Mudhatvam? You have Moha, you have Mana, you have Dussanga, you are not interested in Adhyatmic spiritual activities, and you have a lot of desires that fill your mind. This knowledge is not for you, Krishna is saying. You are wasting your time, nothing will go inside your head. Then he says, who can get it? Yatanto yoginaschainam pasyantyatmanyavasthitam yatanto api kritatmano nainam pasyantya chetasaha. He says, yatanto yoginaha cha enam. The yogis, the people who are interested in getting this knowledge, they they put efforts. Without efforts, you don't get anything in this world. You have to put efforts. On spiritual path also, we have to put effort. What is the effort? To get rid of our ego, get rid of our pride, arrogance, attachments, develop interest in spiritual activities, and get rid of unnecessary all these desires. This effort we have to put. Otherwise it is not going to happen. So he says, Yatanta yoginascha enam pashyanti, they see it. Where atmanyavasthitam, in themselves they see this truth. This truth is not something you go and learn from outside. This is something that you learn within. It is by the Atma, as the Atma, in the Atma. This is the knowledge. That is why Ashtavakra Gita says, Jnanam, Gyeyam, Tatha Jnata, Tritayam na asti vastavam. Ajnanat bhati yatridam, soham asmi niranjanam, says Ashtavakra. Says, the knowledge, the knower and the known, these three do not exist separately. They are one only. This is spirituality. In physical sciences, things are different. But in spiritual science, all three are one. The knower and the knowledge and the known, they all become one. And they appear to be different, that I am the sadhaka, this is the sadhana, and that is the sadhya. All this appears different because of ajnana, ignorance. Otherwise, they are one only. But as we start purifying ourselves, this becomes clearer and clearer to us. So purification, chitta shuddhi is the way. So that is the sadhakas, this thing. So this is in the self, by the self, of the self, as the self. This adhyatma is by you, in you, as you, of you, for you. It's all about you. That's why spirituality is a very interesting subject, because it's about you. It's not about somebody else. So you should be interested in your own self, right? That is the idea. Then says, yatanto api akritatmano, the one who is not putting efforts, the one who is not sincere. Even if he puts effort, the one who is not sincere. Yatantah api, even though he puts effort, who akritatmanaha, the one who is not free from the desires, the one who is not in a state of purity, what happens to? Nainam pashyanti, na enam pashyanti. We cannot see this. Achetasa. Why achetasa he is? His chetana, his force, his life force, his energy, his attention, his abilities are directed elsewhere. He is distracted. Achetasaha, distracted, not focused. So you can be in ashram. You can see me every day. You can go through Paravidya classes every day for 1.5 hours. If you are Akritatmana and Achetasaha, you will not learn anything at the end of the whole year. Develop these qualities is what Krishna is saying, because only such people are yogis who put efforts and then they realize this self within themselves. And they know, I am only that self which I was seeking. I am not different from that which I was seeking. So this is the knowledge, ultimately you get it. See how easy it is. This knowledge is you, the knower is you, and the process is also you. Everything, you don't have to spend 1 rupee to gain this knowledge. Imagine you don't have to go to Harvard or Stanford or somewhere and spend lakhs of rupees or dollars to learn this. Nobody needs to teach. You are that as you are. What a beautiful thought, isn't it? This is something that we should hold on to. When Nisargadatta Maharaj's guru told him, you are God, you are Brahman. And Nisargadatta Maharaj was BD Baba, they used to call him, because he used to sell BDs, make BDs and sell in a pawn shop in Mumbai. So his guru told, you are God as you are. He said, with all these BD business and all these my habits, I am God. Yes, you are. Hold on to this thought firmly. Don't get this thought slip out of your hands. Bas, he caught a hold of that thought. I am divine only. So what if I smoke BDs? So what if I sell BDs? So what if I have big family? So what if I do? I am God, I am God. That got so firmly established in his head, he realized that he was God. And he helped so many people more. So that is the idea, that this is by the self, this knowledge of self-realization is for you, by you, in you, as you. So this is not different from you. That is the beauty of this knowledge. Yad aditya gatam tejo, yad jagat bhasayate akhilam, yes chandramasi yad chagno, tat tejo vidhi mamaka. That sun that shines, it's shining because of me. That glow in the sun is me only, Krishna is saying. That sun which illuminates the whole earth, in that sun, the power to shine is me. That's what Krishna is saying. Yes, Chandramasi. In moon also, that is me only, that shine is me. Yet Chagnau. In the fire also, that ability to burn or whatever is me only. Tat tejo viddhi mamakam. All that teja is me only, is because of me. It's my ability which is reflecting in all the sun, moon. And sun is also called Chakshu. It is the lord of the eyes. So you can think of it as physical senses. Then moon is the lord of the mind, they say. Chandrama manaso jata, mind. So all the subtle senses and the mind also is enlightened by me only. Physical senses, the eyes represented by the sun. Subtle senses, the mind represented by the moon. And Agni. Agni is the entire body's, entire process, the physical process. Everything is done by me only, Krishna is saying. It is my power which is manifesting through all these things. Because he said, in my place, Surya is not there, Chandra is not there, Agni is not there. Then how do things happen there? What is the process? How do you see things there? It's my power which makes everything see. It's a very subtle thought, deeper thought is the consciousness which makes everything get illumined. And he can understand that. Gama vishyacha bhutani dharayam ahamojasa pushnami chaushadhi sarva somo bhutva rasatmakaha. I am the one who enters all the lokas, the planets. I am the one who is keeping everything, all stars, moon, planet in their own orbits and places. I am the one who is bearing all the beings. I am the one who protects, nourishes, sustains all the things through my ojasa, through my power. And pushnami cha aushadhi sarva somo bhutva rasatmaka. I only become the moon and I nourish the aushadhis, means the plants. They say the juice in the plants is because of moon. And because, of course, in the sun all the water will evaporate, plants will become dry. It's the moon which cools the plant and allows the retention. Therefore, we have juicy fruits and vegetables. So that juice, rasa. Also, God is called as Raso Vaisaha. The essence of everything is Him. So basically, it's a way to say that all that is happening is my power only which sustains everything. Don't be deluded that anything is happening because of you. Without me, you are nothing. If I withdraw, nothing remains here. That is the idea. Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha Prana Apana Samayukta Pachamyanam Chaturbidam. That makes us all feel hungry now. Our food mantra it is. We chant this, right? Everybody chants. Aham Vaishwanara Bhutva. I am that fire in the belly of all the beings, the hunger. And Prana Apana Samayukta. There are 5 kinds of Vayus are there. Prana, Upana, Apana, Udana, Vyana, Samana. For another day I'll keep this description of Vayus. But these are called Pancha Pranas which help us to manage our physiological, biological systems. To breathe in, to breathe out, to excrete, to maintain the temperature. All these are done by these 5 kinds of forces. All that is me only. I only do that. And then Pachami Annam Chaturvidam. The digestion power in you is me. And I digest 4 kinds of things. 4 kinds of things are Bhojyam, which has to be chewed like chapati. Then Peyam, which has to be drunk like water or juice. Then Koshyam, which is to be sucked like sugar cane or or maybe chocolate and your thumb also at times. And Lehyam, that has to be licked. So all these are kinds of food that you enjoy. Everything is enjoyed because of my power to digest. Imagine if one day your digestion is not good. What's going to happen? You can't be healthy. You will be miserable. Everybody around you will be miserable. So difficult. So that power in me, in you, everything is me only. Krishna is saying, relate everything to the divinity only. But foolish people will relate it to their health, their fitness, their abilities. Whereas the divine people, the spiritual people will see that it is only the divine who is making all these things happen. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannavishto matta smriti jnanam apohanam cha. I am there in the hearts of all the beings, he says. Heart means not the physical heart. Heart means the core. Like heart of the city, when they say it is the center or the middle or the most important part of the city. So like that, I am in the hearts of all. I am residing in everybody. And mattaha smriti jnanam apohanam cha. Apohanam means forgetfulness. And jnanam means knowledge. Smriti means memory. Matta, all these things are me only. So you will be very happy, oh, all the forgetfulness I have is also because of Krishna only. Yes, all the lessons that you forget the next day is because of Krishna. And the things that you remember also is because of Him. And the memory or the wisdom, knowledge that you gain is also because of Him. It's important, right? Forgetfulness is important. All the bad things we have done to others and others have done to us. If we keep on remembering them, then we will be miserable forever. So sometimes forgetfulness is a good quality. Forget and forgive, as they say. Forget what others have done to you, in the sense the wrong things. But don't forget what you have done to others, I say sometimes, because then you will repeat the mistakes. But idea is that all the power, all the ability of the mind, body, annam pachami, all that is me, prana, apana, samavita, the subtle energy is me, the mental energies, the faculty of intelligence, memory, buddhi, mana, all this is also because of me, is what Krishna is telling. See, we are born in every birth, we forget what we did in the last birth. That forgetfulness is also because of the divine will only. If you remember all our past births, but some people who are very divine, they are capable of going into their past births and knowing what they have done, like Buddha did it. He found out all these past births. So all abilities are me, that is what he is trying to say. Vedeshcha sarvaih ahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda videva cha aham. He says, Vedeshcha sarvaih, of all the things that needs to be known in the Vedas, whatever is described, ahameva vedyaha, I am the knower of it all. How he is the knower? Because he is the creator, the one who has created knows everything. So Vedanta krit, I am the one who has created the Vedanta, Vedas. All the knowledge systems are created by me only. Vedavid eva achaham. All the things are known also by me only. See, the knowledge is created by me, knowledge is me, and it's known by me. That's why it says Jnanam, Gyayam, Gyata, all is one in only in our spirituality. Krishna only is the source of knowledge, embodiment of knowledge, knower of that knowledge, creator of the knowledge, everything is Him only. So if we have any abilities in our life, sum and substance of this shloka is, please don't attribute to some your ego, mind and your physical or mental or intellectual abilities. All that is powered by the divine abilities that is gifted to us by the divinity alone. So that way we are all blessed, because if you are able to breathe, eat, talk, move, do anything, is because of that divine power. So where is divinity? I can't see God. If you can see yourself, you can see God. If you can see others, you can see God. If you can hear, taste, smell, touch, feel, you are the very embodiment of God. Because of God, all these things are happening. This is how you must develop faith in the presence of God in everything, in every situation. Dvavimau purusho loke shara cha aksharam evacha sharha sarvani bhutani kutastho aksharam uchyate. He says there are two kinds of purusha. Now you will say it's getting complicated. First you say there is purusha and prakriti. Now you say in purusha also there are two kinds. But these are all different ways of Krishna telling the same thing. He says two kinds of purushas are there in you. What are the purusha? One is akshara purusha, another is akshara purusha. Kshara is that one which decays, akshara is that which does not decay. So in us, what is the kshara which decays? Body decays, mind also, thoughts also decay, means we forget things and we'll lose our memory, mind. But what does not decay in us? That consciousness does not decay. In the sense, if it leaves us, it does not become less. If I break the walls down, space has not become more. Space was the same, outside, inside. Measurement of the space happened with these walls. But if I break the wall, space has not increased or decreased. Likewise, consciousness doesn't increase or decrease by the death or the birth of a few extra beings in the world. It remains the same. So that is the idea. So that consciousness which is in the matter, remember even matter has consciousness, we told about that. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam ekam bahunam, our scriptures say. Even in the atom there is consciousness. That power is there. Why? Without that intelligence, how do you manage those protons and neutrons and subatomic particles? How do you keep electrons at the right distance from the protons? How do you make two atoms come together and make a molecule? This whole intelligence is divinity only. No? There it may not be able to talk, walk, and like I say, God sleeps in matter, breathes in plants, whatever, walks in animals, and thinks in man. So it's only God who manifests His powers in different ways. Even in that so-called sentient things, divinity exists. That's why we pray to earth, we pray to rivers, we pray to mountains. So to say, it's just matter. But we all personify them as divinity. This is our culture, because we saw divinity in everything. That's why we are very conscious of not hurting anybody or anything. Even environment, we were always very kind and careful. It's the Western idea which has changed the thought process, that matter or the material resources are at our disposal, we are the masters, and we can use as we want. And today all of us are suffering with climate changes and environmental issues. But Indian thought process was very different. We were very careful not to hurt anybody, anything, including matter was not destroyed. When we do Bhumi Puja, we pray to Mother Earth. We are digging you to build a house for ourselves. Please bless us, please forgive us for the difficulties that I give. You will, like two people went to a river, a Western man and an Indian one. Indian one took a dip and felt purified within and without. Not only his body was washed clean, but his mind also got purified because he took a dip in a sacred river. Whereas somebody who does not believe in the sanctity or the purity or the divinity of the river water, for him only body is clean, mind is still dirty. But for us, mind also gets clean because we feel there is divinity in the river. So this idea is very, very deep in Indian philosophy, that everything is divinity. So he is telling, Dva Vimau Purusha. There are two kinds of Purusha. Purusha means that divinity which resides in all. One is Akshara Purusha, which is matter which changes, decays, changes, including the body. And the Akshara Purusha, the divine consciousness within, which remains even after the body dies. Okay? Shara Sarvani Bhutani Kutosthara Kutaha Atha Akshara Uchyate. All the beings are called as Shara only because bodies die. Then what is Akshara? That Akshara is steady, which does not change. Kuta means in an ironsmith's shop, you'll see there is a kind of a peg, iron peg like thing, a rod, using which he uses other iron rods and shapes them. Sometimes if you go to see our construction site, you will see an iron rod will be fixed. With that, they will bend the other steel rods and things like that. So that is called Kutaha. So there is something which is the reason why things happen around it. That is also I am, this is also I am. Also, if you look deeply into this, Akshara part is our body, in a way our thoughts, emotions which keep changing. But Akshara part is something in us which does not die. Now if you go a little more deeper into our philosophies, there are three kinds of bodies are there. Physical body, Sthula Sharira, mental or a subtle body is called the Sukshma Sharira, and causal body or Karana Sharira. And there are Pancha Koshas are also there. Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha and Anandamaya Kosha. There are 5 sheaths. These are all from the Upanishads. Taittiriya Upanishad says that. Food sheath is the physical being. Prana is the life force that drives this physical body. Mind is subtler than the prana, which controls all our senses, sense organs, our experiences, perceptions. Vijnana, a sense of awareness, which makes us conscious of things. And Anandamaya Kosha, that avyakta, which remains subtly available, but it is only manifesting when our intelligence, our mind, our prana and our bodies are all in a pure state. Then we can see, it's like one layer after the other. Think like that. But this is from the Upanishads. You have to study those Upanishads to find out. So when we die, what happens? When we die, our body falls. The prana, the life force, detaches itself from the physical body. So body decays and dies immediately after death. This prana, the energy, merges into the mind. This mind with all its memory, impressions in Vijnana, that is Vijnana means the knowledge of everything, is called as the subtle body or Sukshma Sharira. Sometimes you will have darshans of gods or divine beings. They come to you, they are exactly like how they are physically. They look like that, they feel like that, they behave, talk, walk. That is the Sukshma Sharira. And beyond that is called Karana Sharira, which is only the Anandamaya Kosha. It has all your past memories are there in that. But it does not in an unmanifest state, in a seed state. So when you die, what happens? Only physical body dies. Your mental sheaths are withdrawn from the physical body. They go to the lokas. Remember the lokas, good lokas, bad lokas and things like that. And they wait there. For what? To get another body and come back again. How do they come back? Based on what they have done in the previous birth. Yoni manye prapadyante sharirattvaya. After giving up the body, that particular energy of your mind, your thoughts, your desires, your ambitions, your unfulfilled ideas, all these remain in the subtle body. And what happens to that? That looks for another body to get into. So we are born again in a certain family, in a certain situation. So this is not the first time we are born. We have been coming here quite a few times, but every time we come, we forget that we were born before. Some jnanis remember their past births. And they are able to realize, oh, I've been here, I've done all these things before. What is the point in repeating the things again? And they want to withdraw. Like Bharata Jada Bharata story is there. He remembered his past. So next time he decided not to get entangled in the world and realized and redeemed himself. So all these are two parts. One is the physical body which changes and dies. The Akshara Purusha is the one, the Jivatma, which carries all the ideas, vasanas with it. However, Krishna says, this is not enough complication. He complicates this further by saying, Uttama Purushastu Anyaha. The Uttama, this is Purusottama yoga, right? So it's not Shara Purusha yoga, it is not Akshara Purusha yoga, it is Purusottama yoga, the supreme being. That being only enters the matter, that being only enters the life force, that being is also beyond the two, he says. So the supreme being who is beyond these two, Paramatma iti udahirataha. He is known as the supreme Atma. We are Jivatma and that is Paramatma. And the matter is no Atma, it is only matter. But anything that is moving has Atma in it. Most of the other religions don't believe. They say, how can cow have an Atma? How can animals have Atma? Soul is only for human beings. But our scriptures believe it is there in everything. Unmanifest, manifest, and different ways of manifestations. That's all it is. So he says there is the Puruṣottama is beyond these two, Kshara and Akshara. What happens to Yo lokatrayam avishya bibhartya avyaya ishvaraha. He permeates all the three worlds, he says. Now again you'll ask, what are these three worlds? Where does he permeate? Our scriptures say there are three worlds, Jagrata, Swapna and Sushupti. When you are awake, which I hope most of you are, that is one state, one loka it's called. Second is dream state, which some of you might be going through. That is the second state, second loka. Third is deep sleep state, where you are not dreaming, but you are not awake also. That is called Sushupti. These are the three states of our existence. You go and check, all the time you are in one or the other of these three states only. You can't be in the fourth state. Fourth state means this way you cannot be in fourth state. But in our scriptures we call of another state called the fourth state, which is present in all the three states, they say. So it's not really a fourth state. It is the only state which is present in all the three. What is that? Jagrita avastha means you are awake. Swapna avastha, you are dreaming. Sushupti is when you are in deep sleep. But in all the three, have you disappeared? While Jagrita, you know, I am so and so boy and girl in this class, or I am such a devotee. In Swapnavastha, you may dream of you being the king of some country or prime minister of some country, but that won't happen. That is in a dream state. But you know that you have dreamt because when you wake up, you remember the dream. And third is in deep sleep. In deep sleep, you are not even awake, you are not aware. You don't remember anything. After a deep sleep state, do you remember that you were sleeping? You wake up and say, I thought I just slept for 2 minutes. You just slept for 10 hours, you won't realize. Because you're in deep sleep state where all your senses have been withdrawn into the mind. Mind has been withdrawn into the consciousness, they say. So that state is also permeated by me. But when you come awake, because you had forgotten everything in your deep sleep, after coming awake also, do you forget everything about you? Somebody has to tell you your name in class? No. Suddenly all the memory comes back to you. Which had disappeared in your deep sleep state comes back to you again in your wakeful state. The dream state where you had thought yourself to be the professor or the prime minister falsely, that memory disappears and you are the student in this class, that memory comes back to you in wakeful state. So who maintains all these memory? Who manages all these memory when you are not physically active or mentally active? That consciousness manages it, they say. That consciousness is called Turiya Avastha. This is the fourth state, they call it. So when we chant Omkara also, Omkara is represented, the first curve is Jagrata Avastha, the second curve is Swapna Avastha, the third curve is Sushupti, and then the Bindu which is on top, fourth, beyond the Chandra Bindu, that is called as Turiya. So when you chant Om also, you have to chant like this. Means my wakeful state, the body. Means my Swapna state, dream state, which is the mind. Then you go to the last state, the Sushupti state. By that time, most of the people reach that state while chanting Om. But the third curve is for Sushupti state, deep sleep state, which says that all the mind has been withdrawn, but I am still aware of myself. And that awareness is represented by the that Bindu, which is, I always call the silence after chanting Om. So you chant Om the right ways, you chant. After Om chanting, there should be a little silence. You should observe the silence. Because in that silence is the purest state of your existence. Another way of putting it is, You say, I am so and so. I am a man, I am a woman, I am a boy, I am a girl. If I remove boy, girl, woman, man, what remains? I am remains. I am is the consciousness. Nobody can take it away from you. Can anybody take away your presence, your existence? No. Your existence as a student can change because you will graduate and you will reach college. So from school student, you became a college student. That has changed. I am a school student, I am a college student has changed. But I am cannot change. That concept in our scriptures is defined as Paramatma, that understanding of I am. So when you meditate, you have to meditate. I am not the body, mano, buddhi, chitta, ahankaranaham, na cha shrotra jive, na cha grana netre, na cha vyoma bhumi, na tejo, na vayu, chidananda rupa, shivoham. That aham is the truth, on which everything else is dependent. That is independent. I is independent, but I am a boy. Being a boy is dependent on that I. Being a girl is dependent on that I. I itself is independent. That state is called Paramatma. Bibhartya avyaya Ishvara. It sustains everything. It bears everything. Bharta means it protects, nourishes, provides for. All other things exist because you exist. You exist not as a body. Because after your body doesn't exist, then what happens to all that you did? But I feeling, that Paramatma feeling in you is the reason why everything else exists in you. And this is beyond the Kshara and Akshara Purusha. Kshara Purusha is the body. Akshara Purusha is the causal body, that which brings all the memory and everything back to you when you are born again. And beyond that is Parama Purusha or Purusottama, which is untouched, unmanifest source of all existence, which is also in you, in me, in this table, chair, in everything. But here it is in a manifest form. In the supreme, most purest state, it is in the unmanifest form. That is our scriptural truth. Now towards the end shlokas, Yasmat aksharam atitoham aksharadapi chottamaha atosmi loke vede cha pratita puruṣottamaha. He says, because I am beyond the kshara and akshara as the higher self, I am praised by all the Vedas as the ultimate Puruṣottama. I have chanted up. Vedas declare me as the ultimate, not Krishna as the physical Krishna. Krishna as the supreme, primordial, divine principle which exists everywhere, which has never changed, which has never got destroyed or diminished. It has no beginning, middle or end. It was there, it is there, it will continue to be there. That primordial principle is Puruṣottama, the highest and the best, which never changes, which never gets destroyed, which never comes and goes. So the Vedas describe to me as that ultimate which is beyond Kshara and Akshara. I am that ultimate principle called Puruṣottama, and I am praised by the Vedas. Yo mam eva sammudho janati Puruṣottamam sa sarvavid bhajati mam sarvabhavena bharata. The one who is not deluded, who is able to see that subtle principle of the divine presence in everything and everyone, who comes to know of me as the Puruṣottama, the supreme principle, the supreme resident of all beings, sa sarvavid bhajati mam, he worships me in every way. Whomever he sees the divinity. Whomever he meets, he sees divinity in that. Whatever he experiences as a divine experience. Bad, good, ugly does not exist for such a person. Everything is divinity only. Something good happens, God's grace. Bad happens, God's wish. You are succeeding, God's prasadam. You fail, God's lesson. Everything you see as a divine principle only. And whoever you come across, you treat them with respect and love them because you want to worship the divinity in all. And sarvabhavena bharata, in all ways, in all situations, in all feelings, he only sees me, nobody else. So you may see a man or a woman, but the divine person will see God only in everything. The stone also God, tree also God, animal also God, everything is God. Yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandati nandatyeva. Such a person is always happy because his mind is connected with Brahman. You may see the body, you may see the mind, he sees the divinity inside. You may see the bulb, you may see the color of the light, he sees the electricity inside. So he has that subtle vision, jnana chakshu. So finally Krishna is concluding, he says, iti guhyatamam shastram idam uktam mayanagha etad buddhva buddhiman syad krita krityascha bharata. So, oh dear Bharata means the son of Bharata from the lineage, as well as the one who he was known as Bhagavantudulo Ratinchevadu Bharatiyudu. He is interested in divinity, he is interested in spirituality, so also he is a Bharata. Then Or bha means knowledge. Rata means interested, who revels in knowledge. See, Arjuna is interested in knowledge, right? That's why he's going on asking questions. So he's a Bharata. So such a Bharata you are. So I am telling you this ultimate knowledge. Guhya tamam. Guhya, guhya taram, guhya tamam. Guhya means secretive knowledge. Not everybody knows it. Guhya taram means super secretive knowledge. Only your friends know it. Nobody else knows it. Guhya tamam, you also don't know who you are. This is the knowledge. It is hiding in plain sight. That's why it's Guhyatam. It is so funny because this knowledge is our existential truth. Yet we are not able to access it. We are not able to know it. That is why it is Guhyatamam knowledge. It is not to be found somewhere. It is to be found within us. Nowhere else. Once Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh were discussing, it seems there's a story for children. Where to hide this divinity so that it's very difficult to find it. Brahma said, let us hide in the Akasha somewhere. They said, no, they'll take a plane, go, and even rockets now, and go and find out where the divinity is. Then Vishnu said, we'll hide it in the ocean. He said, no, they will dive like a good deep sea divers. They'll go down, dig, and find out the divinity there too. Then Shiva said, let us to hide it on the mountain top, Kailasha. So they'll climb up, their hikers. They'll climb and come there also and find divinity. Where should we hide? Then they all decided that we should hide it within the man only. Because that is one place man will never search. Everywhere we search, but we don't search within. Where is God? God is within, they say. How does he exist? He exists as you. Your very consciousness is God. How do you know you are God or not? Are you conscious? Are you aware? Are you able to understand, listen, do things? Yes, that power is God. Without that power, nothing will work. If I just pull out the plug and electricity is disconnected, can TV work, light work, fan work? Nothing will work. All this is working, it means what? Electricity is present. How do you know electricity is present? By just looking at the light, bulbs, the fan, the sound. If all this is working, it means electricity is present. Can you see electricity? No. Can you touch electricity? No, you'll get a shock, but that is not electricity. That has moved on by the time you see. It has moved through you, therefore you experience the shock. But you cannot hold it, you cannot weigh it, you cannot. So this is the idea of divinity also. It is there. Because it is there, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam. Tasya bhasa sarvam vidabhajati. Because it shines, only everything is shining. It means because it is present in you, you are God. Therefore you are able to touch, taste, smell, hear, feel, read, learn, understand, experience. All this is happening because of the presence of God in you. If God is not in you, you will not be able to experience all these things. That is the whole concept. He says, this is the Shastram, this is the textbook, what I have taught you. Step by step I have taught you how to realize what is Prakriti, what is Purusha, what is Guna, what is Akshara and Kshara Purusha, how to develop the purity, what good qualities you require to attain this understanding and knowledge. So he says, know this, Maya Anaga, O sinless one. He considers Arjuna as the sinless one, pure. That's why he is teaching him all these things. Etad buddha, knowing this, buddhiman chat, become intelligent. Buddhiman means the one who uses dhi shakti, who discriminates. If somebody else sees, a dog is coming. Jnani sees, God is coming. That is the difference. But he behaves according to dog's behavior. Once Ramakrishna Paramahansa's disciple was there. Ramakrishna says in everything God exists. So one disciple, when a mad elephant was rushing and coming, and he was on the way of the mad elephant. So he said, elephant is also God only. I am seeing God in the elephant. Nothing will happen to me. Elephant came and pulled him and threw him, and few bones broke. And then he came complaining to Ramakrishna Paramahansa, you told me you see God in everything. I saw God in elephant. Look at what it has done to me. He said, you know that elephant is God, but elephant does not know that it is God. Therefore it did this to you. So don't do these foolish things also. If you really experience God, like Adi Shankara has experienced God, what happened? Somebody wanted to get him killed. One tiger was there, a man-eater tiger was there, and somebody showed him the wrong path, saying, go this way and you will reach. Idea was to get him killed. But when the tiger appeared in front of Adi Shankaracharya, he said, you are divine. And if I can be of some use to satiate your hunger today, so be it. Let my body be a food for you. And the tiger withdrew, as if his hunger disappeared. So see, that Knowledge. You should do not fool around saying theoretically God is in everyone. Unless you have experienced and you believe it, you will not be able to understand this. So theoretical knowledge is no knowledge at all. If you can repeat it 100 times these shlokas, you don't become jnani. By buying a harmonium, you don't become a musician. Harmonium or acquiring a guitar doesn't make you a guitarist. Similarly, buying a Bhagavad Gita doesn't make you a jnani. You have to practice. So he's saying, Buddhiman syat, become intelligent. How? By doing all the practices that I have described. Become sinless, mayanagha. And then what happens to you? You will be able to discriminate. Sukshma drishti will come. Jnana chakshu will come to you. In every situation. Patibodha viditam matam amritattvam vindate. All situations you will see divinity only. Good, bad, ugly. Everything is divine. And what will happen then? Kritakrityascha bharata. All that needs to be done, achieved in this life, take it from me, you would have finished achieving all that thing. There's nothing more to be achieved. Basically, that is what Krishna is saying. Right now, we have so many ambitions, ideas. I have to do this, I have to go there, I have to achieve that. All these ideas will disappear. Whatever needs to come your way, whatever you need to do, as if under some divine great influence, you will simply become an instrument and everything will happen through you. Kritakrityascha bharata. This whole continuous restlessness about doing, achieving, enjoying will disappear. You'll become calm and happy, and whatever comes your way, you will take it as God's prasadam, and you don't have to trouble yourself. This is when you know who you are. Ayamasmi iti puruṣaha. When I know I am that person, I am the divine, I am the kim icchan kasya kamaya shariram anusanjaret, says the Upanishad. Why should you trouble your body and mind to achieve things? That when you know you are the divine will do anything and everything through you. Why should you take the unnecessary trouble and of the ego of doership and suffer? Why should you do that? He says, just be. Realize who you are, just be. Everything will happen through you. Therefore, I say, Jnanis don't do anything. It's done for them. That's why there's no doing in Jnanis. But deep down, what I know, that one divinity only is running this whole show, this puppet show. We are all dancing according to that divine command. To that extent we are good, to that extent we are bad, to that extent we are punyatmas, to that extent only we are papatmas. Therefore punyam, papam doesn't exist in the true sense. For a knower of the truth, everything is neutral, nothing exists for him. Develop that intelligence, develop the sukshma buddhi, jnana chakshu, with which you can discriminate between this foolish idea that everything is body and mind and shara and matter and jada, versus everything is permeated by divinity. This is manifestation of the same divinity in so many forms. You can fight over a gold bangle or a gold chain or a gold ring, but the one who knows that it is all made of gold, he has no problem. Wave, the foam or froth or the ocean may look different, but a jnani sees all of it as water. Somebody wrote to me, Swami, I have realized that I am not the wave, I am the ocean. I said, Ayyo, you're not even the ocean, you are the water, I said. Because ocean is also a form, a name or a form given to a water. Tomorrow the same water goes off into a river, they'll say this is a river. You are neither the ocean, nor the waves, nor even the river. You are only the water, like that. The essence, the substratum, the foundation, the fundamental thing that you are. So you have to tell yourself. That is why this Nirvana Shatkam, Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. I keep asking you to chant that, hoping that someday this knowledge will reveal itself to you, provided you are nirmana, you don't have ego, nirmoha, you don't have any delusions, you are jitasanga, dosha, you don't have any bad company, bad associations, bad attachments. Then adhyatma nitya, you are ever interested in spiritual things, always putting efforts. And then, what was the last one? Vinivritta kamaha, you have given up all desires. Study, not for a desire's sake. Study because that is your duty, that is your dharma. God has given you this opportunity. Study, do your best and leave the rest. This is how one should lead one's life. Then there is no sorrow. Tatra ko moha kashokaha ekatvam anupashyataha, says our Isha Upanishad. Where is moha, delusion? Where is shoka, sorrow for such a person who sees only one, who doesn't see many? A dog enters a room full of mirrors, sees so many dogs, starts barking out of ajnana. A man enters the room, sees his reflection in all the mirrors, feels happy. Everybody knows this is me only. The moment you see all this is me, you become happy. You become happy. That is the idea. See yourself in everyone as divine only. In yourself there is divinity. In everyone also there is divinity. Develop this idea, be buddhiman syat, kritakrityascha. Be done with all that needs to be done in this world. Live, have no desires, have nothing to do, nothing to achieve. Why? Because everything will be done and achieved as it is destined, as it is kind of decided by the divine. You simply become an expression of that divinity. That's why I said, what is your role in life? Be purest expression of the divine will. That's all. Nothing else. Don't interfere with it. Don't obstruct it. Don't become a problem for it. Just be, and all the things will happen. So this meditation of aham, I am, must be done. Sit down and do this when you go back. Sit down and think. Become aware of your presence. You are sitting here. You are aware of your body. Then slowly withdraw from the body. Now become aware of your mind and the thoughts in the mind. Then slowly withdraw from the mind. Become aware of the awareness which was aware of the mind, which was aware of the body. And establish yourself in the awareness as calling it as aham. Aham. This is your true introduction. This is your true nature. This is your true property. Aham. The existence. That is puruṣottama. So when you meditate on that, you will get rid of all other problems that come out of your body and mind and intelligence and memories. All these can be distorted. You withdraw from Prakriti into Kshara Purusha, into Akshara Purusha, into Purusottama, and sit peacefully there. Nobody can disturb you. Let the world go around and whatever happens, within you, you will be calm and peaceful. Then you can think right, you can do right, you can express the divinity right. This is what you should learn at the end of our education. More and more jnanis are required for this world. We don't need intelligent engineers. We don't need amazing doctors. We need, in the sense, they are needed. But more than that, what the world needs today is jnanis. And that's why our university or education institutions' main goal is to produce jnanis. Who are jnanis? Who have realized this knowledge, who are living this knowledge on a daily basis. They are jnanis. Rest all are jigyasus and others. So we need jnanis. Become jnanis. That's when your graduation gets over here. For devotees, jnanis should be the way of life. This is our idea. This is our culture. This is what we expect from each one of you.